Every morning, usually between 5 and 11 a.m., we release our Central Indiana Scoreboard Show. It's our flagship podcast, and it's similar to ESPN Radio Sports Center, but focuses on the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, Butler, and, of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. Please join us for your daily audio sports section. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 284.2, our softball regional preview show with Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garmon.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, softball fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and our softball regional preview as we look at every regional across the state, 32 of them. 30 of them are Tuesday, and then there are 2 on Wednesday. Both of them are 4A in the north, including Noblesville. We'll have those at the end. We will start in Class 4A and move our way down to 3A. Joining me now is Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader. And Michelle, we got some pretty interesting storylines locally.
We do. We have some, and I think the regionals in our area are going to be pretty competitive games too.
Yeah, really looking forward to going out to LaPel to see Alexandria and LaPel. Of course, Alexandria beat LaPel earlier in the year, Michelle, but it was LaPel that beat Alexandria on their way to a semi-state championship last year. And that could very easily be the state champion at the end of the year, whoever wins that one.
It could be. I look for another exciting game. LaPel's not quite the same team they were a year ago, but they're still really, really good. It should be a great pitching matchup between Bodenhorn and Humphreys. Bodenhorn of LaPel and Brindley Humphreys of Alexandria. I was sitting there and I was looking over and I was watching the championship game when Alec beat Blackburn on Friday night. I didn't think that Humphreys looked as overpowering as she had earlier in the year when I saw her. But yet I go back through and she pitched a 3-hitter and struck out 10 and did not walk a batter. Now, I think some of that was because I do think the inning that Blackwood scored their 2 runs, I do think she had a little bit of control issues. She was a little bit wild, fastballs, balls maybe down in the dirt a little bit that you don't always normally see from her. But my gosh, she is, she's just good. And Alec knows they have a chance every time she steps into the circle, just like LaPel knows they have a chance with Bodenhorn in the circle.
That's absolutely right, and we will come back and talk about that one, Michelle, as we go through that. But right now, we're going to start in Class 4A, and there are some other ones, Michelle, that I'm really looking forward to. Yorktown and Western, for example, should be a really good one.
Yes,
but we'll start in Class 4A, and there are 4 regionals that feed into the Center Grove semi-state, and we'll start there in the south with 13 and 15 Lawrence North at 18 and 7 Greenfield Central. That game's at 6 o'clock. Greenfield Central beat Lawrence North 8-3 on May 23rd. And of course, Greenfield Central Junior Savannah Real is incredible. She's batting .644 with 14 home runs, and she has 25 career home runs. 56 RBIs this year, Michelle, 35 runs. Lawrence North's led by senior Sydney Moss, who's batting .349 with 9 home runs, 24 in her career, 33 RBIs, and 23 runs. It's been since 1998 since Lawrence North has won a regional. Greenfield Central's won 3 all-time. 2017 was their last one. Michelle, it looks like Greenfield's going to be the favorite going into that one.
Greenfield just seems to have some really big bats. And that's the home run hitter that's impressive.
Yes, it is. Number 2, Center Grove, is at Avon and one of the other regionals that feed into the Center Grove semi-state. Center Grove is 23-3. They were a semi-state finalist last year. It was their first regional championship actually since 2019, which is kind of a surprise as great as they've been. They've won 5 state championships and had 3 runners-up. Avon is 11-17 and also won a regional championship last year, their first since 2017, and they were the 2016 state champions. Michelle, you look at their records, and it looks like Center Grove is clearly the better team, but they only beat Avon 10-9 on May 12th. Center Grove senior Mae Munson is batting .510 with a .548 on-base percentage. 37 runs and 32 stolen bases. Do not let her on the bases. And Avon junior Reagan Cooper is batting .432 with 31 RBIs and 23 runs. You would think Center Grove in that one, but it was a pretty good game the first time.
Yeah, it was. Of course, we don't know who pitched for either school the first time. Sometimes you don't like to show your aces if you're going to play, or for more than an inning or two if you're going to play a team later down the road. I will say this. Center Grove, I think, has always been good on the base paths and always seems to have some kind of speed. And, I just think that, I think that oftentimes is a difference maker in big games.
Absolutely. Manufacturing your own runs is a huge deal in softball. 18-8, Whiteland is at Terre Haute North. Whiteland has never won a regional. Terre Haute North hasn't won one since 2010. Whiteland junior Taylon Putnam is batting .481 with 30 RBIs and 20 runs scored. And Terre Haute North senior Kara Selman, .516 with 8 home runs and 10 doubles, 36 runs scored and 28 RBIs. It looks like Terre Haute North will be the favorite in this one. Then there's number 15 Castle at number 7 Floyd Central. Castle is 25-12 and the reigning champions of the regional. They were the 2001 state champions. And number 7 Floyd Central is 25-4. They have not won a regional since 2015. Castle beat Floyd 8-5 in last year's regional. Castle senior Emma Bruggenschmidt is batting .494 with a .783 slugging percentage and 14 career home runs. Floyd Central senior Elise Coleman is batting .381 with 29 runs scored and 30 RBIs, 8 home runs, and 20 doubles. That should be a really good one. Floyd Central and Castle see each other a lot in the postseason over the years. They are the two dominant teams in 4A softball down there. Neither one of them has broken through since 2001, but looks like to me, Michelle, that Center Grove is probably the favorite to come out of the Center Grove semi-state, but I'd say watch out for Greenfield Central too.
Yeah, I agree. That could be a very competitive semi-state. You look, I know it's been a long time, but Greg, I don't know, you and I have been following all the state finals this year and a lot of the tournament runs, and it seems like some of these teams making these big runs have not, was kind of like the Pacers. They haven't been there for, 10, 20,
That's right.
25 years. So
a lot of that. We'll go to the north in Class 4A, and that feeds into the Harrison semi-state. And the only reason I put this after the south is because 2 of these games, for some reason, are being played on Wednesday. I don't think it was weather-related either, but the 2 games on Tuesday, it's 22-6 Homestead against 22-5 and 12th-ranked Carroll. Carroll has won 2 regional titles. They were the last 2 years. Homestead's never won one, very surprisingly. Carroll beat Homestead 4-2 on May 12th, so this should be a really good one.
Yes, it should be. It sounds like this could be a pitcher's duel.
It really could, and Carroll has a couple of pitchers. It'll be interesting to see which direction they go. Amelia Garcia's 5-0 with a 1.21 ERA, and Taylor Danley is 8-4 with a 1.25 ERA. So, but Homestead has a big hitter in junior Maddie Rogers. She's batting .424 with 38 runs scored, 33 RBIs, 7 home runs, and 11 doubles. So they're going to have to watch out for her, but that could very well be a pitcher's duel. 13 and 11, Chesterton is at number 4, Crown Point. Chesterton is 11 and 13, Crown Point 27 and 4. Chesterton hasn't won a regional since 2012. Crown Point last won a regional in 2022. They were the 2017 state champions, and they are always there, Michelle. They've always been a factor in softball. Crown Point beat Chesterton 15-3 on April 16th, and they are led by Paige Leiser, who is 17-2 with a 0.83 ERA, 251 strikeouts to 21 walks with 6 no-hitters, Michelle.
If it was a lower class, like say if it was a 1A, that would still be impressive, but you would wonder what level of competition. But when it's Crown Point, it's a 4A school, you know what level of competition they're seeing. It's
Absolutely.
real impressive.
Very impressive. Chesterton sophomore Olivia Milton is batting .429 with 22 runs and 21 RBIs. Then we go to Wednesday's 2 games, and we start with number 10, Noblesville at Harrison. Noblesville is 19-7 and has won 4 regionals all time, the last one 2021. The Raiders are 10-12. They've won 8 regionals. Great softball power. Their last one in 2023. They've had 2 state runner-up finishes. That game is at 6 o'clock Wednesday, and the Millers beat Harrison 5-0 on April 21st. Looks like it should be a Noblesville championship.
Yes. All the way back in 1990, when Tipton won the softball state championship, it was all one Class 10. You didn't have a semi-state. You went from the regional to the state. Tipton beat Lafayette Harrison in the regional by a run. It was an exciting game. I know Harrison has always had great softball tradition, but so has Noblesville. And I'll tell you what, it's just so hard to bet against the Millers. That athletic program that they have down there is just fabulous.
And if you come out of that sectional, you know you're really, really good.
Yes, you do.
In the win over Harrison in the regular season, Addison Retzinger threw a complete game 4-hit shutout. She is 6-3 this year with a 2.54 ERA. Senior Brooklyn Grayson is batting .545 with a .602 on-base percentage. Harrison's led by senior second baseman Becca Knight, who has a .425 on-base percentage, and Michelle a .997 fielding percentage, 1 error on 360 opportunities, according to Max Preps. That is getting the job done.
Yeah, that's getting the job done. That's called very impressive.
Yes. And in the other regional, in the Harrison semi-state, it's 17-12 Elkhart at number 5 Penn. Elkhart is 17-12 and hasn't won a regional since 1993. Penn is 23-4 and has won a lot since 1993. In fact, they've won 10 straight regional championships. They were a semi-state finalist last year and the state champions the year before that. Of course, this game is also Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And they played each other twice during the year. Penn won 10-3 and 2-1. That was back in early May. Penn's Ava Zachary is batting .548 with 7 home runs and 10 doubles, 4 triples, and 43 runs scored, 60 RBIs. Elkhart's Lacey Stamak is batting .400 with 30 RBIs, which just seems paltry compared to 60. That's ridiculous.
Oh, it is. I mean, hey, I'll tell you what. You know who you want at the plate if the game is the bottom of the last inning and 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. You know who you want at the plate, don't you?
That's right. Speaking of which, we're about to move to Class 3A and maybe the best hitter in all of the state. And we start in the north of 3A, and the regional champions go to Twin Lakes. And the first one is number 6 Yorktown against number 3 Western. Yorktown is 20-4, Western is 26-3, and these are 2 state powerhouses. Yorktown is a 2-time state runner-up. Western, of course, was a state champion last year after losing twice in the state finals previously. This game is at 6 o'clock, and they did play earlier in the year a Western 11-6 win on April 17th. And let me tell you, Michelle, about Miss Brinley Erb. She is batting .678 with a state best 20 home runs, 15 doubles, 7 triples. She's 8th in the nation with a 1.821 slugging percentage.
If you're Yorktown, I think that there are going to be situations you will pitch to Herb, and there are going to be situations when you may not want to. I will say this, though. I think it's nice, a little bit of advantage maybe that the regional is at Western. However, I think Yorktown is one of the softball teams performing the best right now when you look at their scores and what they do.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're explosive at innings, and so that should be a great game. And I would expect a closer outcome than 11-6.
Yeah, for sure. Probably a lot lower scoring game as well, I would assume. Not only does Western have Brinley Erb in a really good lineup, they also have 2 really good pitchers. Kylie Miller and Lucy George are 23-3 combined. Miller's 14-1, and of course George was the hero of last year's state finals. And then Yorktown has their own hitting star in sophomore Olivia Jarman, who's batting .547 with 41 RBIs, 5 home runs, 10 doubles. Her slugging percentage is .907, an incredible year for her. And freshman Olivia Jones has had a great year pitching, 104 innings pitched. She's 16-2 with a 2.42 ERA, 115 strikeouts, and 28 walks. Michelle, I am really looking forward to this game.
Greg, I am too. That's one of the matchups I said in the area that I think that is just is going to be phenomenal. It's really a shame that it's not going to be live streamed somewhere, so I could be over at Lapel watching Alec and Lapel and catching some highlights from the Western Yorktown game because it should be fabulous.
We'll definitely be watching Twitter on that one. Another one I'm looking forward to seeing what happens is 24 Mississinewa against 18-9 Dwenger. Mississinewa has not won a regional since 2011. They're only one in program history, but they're having a great year. Dwenger has won 3 regionals all time, and they were the 2010 state champions. That game is at 6 in Fort Wayne. Mississinewa is led by Brooklyn Nash, who's batting .478 with 33 runs and 3 triples, and also pitching. She's 8-2 with a 2.8 ERA. Dwenger is led by Maeve Miltner, who is batting .453 with 41 RBIs, 27 runs, 5 home runs, 12 doubles, and 3 triples. I really think Mississinewa's got a shot at winning a regional championship here.
Yeah, I think they have a shot too. I think it's going to be pretty tough. Mississinewa is the only team to beat Alexandria this year, and it was a 1-run game. Mississinewa's been involved in, I think, a few 1-run or close games, at least heading down to the final couple innings.
Right. Yep.
And so I think that will serve them well if the game is close and tight, because they know they've been there and they know they can win those. Now, Dwenger will probably be one of their tougher teams that they're going to have seen on their schedule.
Twin Lakes semi-state, it'll be Hanover Central at Highland. Hanover Central is 14-12, Highland 19-11. Hanover Central has been very good lately. They've won 7 regional championships, including their most recent one in 2023, and they were the 2004 state champions. Highland has never won a regional. Highland junior Haley Thomas, though, batting .512 with a .576 on base percentage, with 31 RBIs and 28 runs.
Yeah, pretty nice numbers. I don't really know too much about those teams up there. I figure it's probably going to be another close battle. I think those, the teams up north in the region area and everything, they're usually pretty good.
And in the other regional, in the Twin Lakes semi-state, it's 18-5 Columbia City against 14-12 Glenn at Glenn. Columbia City's had a lot of good softball teams, including their last regional championship in 22. Glenn has never won one. Glenn is led by senior Peyton Thomas, who's batting .615 with 30 RBIs, 17 runs scored, 8 home runs, and 10 doubles. Columbia City is led by senior Emma Hiss, who's batting .554 with a .603 on-base percentage and has 21 career home runs, 8 this year. That should be a pretty good one.
Yes, it should. It should be. Anytime you're hitting over 600, you're doing something right.
That's right. And I'm guessing, Michelle, that whoever wins the Western Yorktown game takes the mantle of favorite at Twin Lakes.
Oh, that would be my guess. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of that game won the semi-state and will find themselves at Purdue for the state final.
And in the South in Class 3A, it's number 2 New Pal at number 8 Cascade. New Pal is 25-4. They've won 11 regionals, and they were the 4A state runner-up, and they've won 3 state championships. And of course, Cascade won the 2A state championship last year, beating LaPel. They are 21-5. New Pal senior Katie Hershey is batting .540 with 12 home runs, 11 doubles, 2 triples, 45 RBIs, 49 runs scored, and has hit 32 career home runs. And their pitcher is Sadie Hughbanks, who is a really good one, 23-4, 1.81 ERA with 167 strikeouts to 34 walks. Cascade is led by junior Lacey Godby, who's batting .489 with 36 RBIs, 18 runs scored, 13 doubles, and a couple of triples. That's a couple of programs that know how to win.
Yes, they do. We've talked about it before. New Pal is, they've got great athletic programs up and down the board. It's kind of similar to like the Noblesvilles and the Westfields and stuff. So,
and they've been good at softball forever.
Yes, they have. Very good.
In the same semi-state as number 2 New Pal is number 1 Cathedral, which will be at Lebanon. Cathedral is 25-2, and surprisingly, hasn't won a regional since 22. Lebanon is 23-10. Their last regional championship came in 2016 when they won the state championship. Lebanon is led by senior Cren Miller, who's batting .442 with a .512 on-base percentage, 10 doubles, 7 triples, and 4 home runs. She has 15 career home runs. She scored 56 runs this year, which is 3rd in the state. Cathedral is led by senior Angel Valentine, who's 18th in the state in slugging percentage at 1.141. Her batting average is .553 with 9 home runs, 8 triples, and 7 doubles, 51 RBIs, and 39 runs scored. That's going to be an uphill climb for Lebanon.
It is, but you said they have the player that's leads the state in runs.
That's right.
Well, my guess
3rd in the state.
My guess is when she gets on, she usually scores. So
yeah.
To keep 11, we'll make us making sure she gets on base.
And I love those kinds of players. Man, I love Vince Coleman and Ricky Henderson, guys who get on base and just make things happen.
Oh yeah, I know. And I was treated to that with Bailey Kaler for 3 years. COVID took away the 4th year, and those kind of players are very fun and very exciting because if they get on first, here comes the fun, especially when you have people behind that can lay down bunts and know how to then can drive in once they get in scoring position.
Also in the Jasper semi-state in the South, it'll be 18-8 Charlestown against 13-11 Franklin County. Michelle, I was stunned to find out that Charlestown hadn't won a regional since 1997. I guess that's because they're in the same sectional with Silver Creek, because they're a really good program, and I'm surprised by that. Franklin County is 13-11, hasn't won one since 2015. For Charlestown has a huge star in Hannah Burns. She's batting .418 with 29 runs, 25 RBIs, 12 doubles, 6 home runs. And pitching, she's 15-4 with a 1 ERA. She's thrown 5 shutouts this year. Franklin County senior Brooke Steng will be on the other side of Burns. She's batting .506 with 12 doubles, 3 triples, and 5 home runs. She has a .561 on base percentage and an .894 slugging percentage. Looks like Charlestown has a star there that has a chance to carry that team.
Yes, it does sound like that. And kudos to the pitcher from the other team because her batting stats, she tends to help her own cause when she's in the circle.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And Evansville Memorial will be at Jasper. Memorial's 18-7. Jasper is 18-10. Memorial was the 2002 state champion. Jasper was the 2008 state runner-up, but neither one has been very good recently, but someone's going to win a regional championship. Memorial senior Madison Thomas is batting .533. Her on-base percentage of .562. She has 12 doubles, 8 triples, and 8 home runs. And Jasper senior Olivia Young is batting .442 with 23 RBIs, 11 doubles, and a couple of home runs. That really looks like... go ahead.
I was going to say, I was getting ready to say it looks like it's probably, New Pal, maybe New Pal and whoever they play that winner. And, you can't count out Cathedral if they were able to get by Lebanon of coming through and winning the semi-state.
Yeah, that should be a really good matchup at Jasper in the South. We move to Class 2A and the Kokomo Semi-State, and that, of course, is in the North. And, Michelle, that's the one that we are most focused on, and that's number 2 Alexandria against number 4 LaPel. As we mentioned earlier, LaPel beat Alexandria 4-2 in last year's sectional championship. Alexandria won 5-1 earlier this year. You mentioned Brinley Humphreys. She threw a complete game, 4-hitter with 13 strikeouts last time they played LaPel. Her career, she's only a sophomore, so her career stats are 33-5 with a 0.95 ERA, 351 strikeouts to 57 walks. And Michelle, that lineup, Kinley Webb, .542 with 7 home runs. Riley Thomas, .550 with 27 RBIs, 5 home runs. That pitching with that lineup, it's going to be a tough test for LaPel, as good as they are.
Yeah, the one thing is both teams, because I've seen both teams play here recently in their sectional championships, both are very good at executing small ball too. And Alex gotten even better at that. And in fact, it really was their small. I mean, Kinley Webb hit a solo home run that tied it at 2-2, but it was their small ball and their speed that really helped them prevail against Blackford. Senior Natalie Morrow got on base twice. You talk about fast and base runners, and she went from first to third on a bunt there in the bottom of the 7th. That was just phenomenal. And then Jacqueline Hosier, and she said after, which you'll hear in a little bit, she talks about how after she had been struggling with her bunting, so she was really, or with her bat, so she really worked on bunting, and she laid down 2 great bunt singles in that game and followed Morrow. And because of her being able to get on base and single, that brought Riley Thomas to the plate. Thomas hits a sacrifice fly to deep center the first time, and then she just lined a RBI game. She lined a walk-off single to left to end the game. So, Alexandria's ability to execute the small ball at the sectional championship was huge to them winning. I've seen LaPel be able to also execute. So I just think we're going to see some great softball. I think you're going to some great pitching with that matchup. And we're also going to see coaches match wits as to when do you do the small ball, how do you approach different things. I'm looking forward to a great night. It's going to be a hot, sticky night too. And that's the one thing these players are going to play in the hottest temperatures of the season so far. We haven't had any days where where it's been almost 90. And that's what it's going to be tomorrow. And I know it's 6:00 at night, but it's still going to probably be hot and a little muggy. And so it'll be which team can adjust to, the heat and all of that as well.
And, of course, Alexandria has never won a regional. LaPel's only won one, Michelle. And that was last year. And they also went on to win the semi-state as well. And here's what Alexandria is up against. A pitcher named Addison Bodenhorn. a sophomore who is 7-1 this year, 13-2 in her career. She has a state best 0.30 ERA this year, and she has a lot of help, including senior Tatum Harper, who has a 1.083 OPS and has scored 33 runs. She's a big part of that small ball too.
Bodenhorn, like I said, I've seen her too pitch. Elwood was able to get to her just a little bit. The thing is, but what you get with Humphreys and Bodenhorn, they throw strikes. They try to work ahead. If they're going to issue a walk, their walk's going to come because they can't get ahead on the count to start. Because these are two outstanding pitchers that if they can get that first pitch strike or if they can get ahead in the count, it's really hard to come back and do something against them.
And Michelle, I think whoever wins this, again, inherits the mantle of favorite, at least in the semi-state, I would think.
Yes.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say real quick, one of the reasons LaPel never won a regional till last year is some of their good teams is, I think, I know Tipton took them out once or twice, I think, in their regional. So, back with Bailey and Claire, and one of those games was like a 8-7 or 9-8 game. It was a thrilling game.
Well, they were with Frankton for a lot of years too.
Yes, and that was what I was going to say. They were in there with Frankton and even Elwood, because Elwood was. That's right. Because Tipton was not in Elwood sectional back then, and Elwood had some powerhouse clubs too. So I think that's what hurt both. That's why neither LaPel nor Alexandria necessarily has a lot of sectionals or regional championships to their names, because
that's correct. They've both been really good programs through the years. They just haven't been elite until recently, I would say.
Right.
Also in the same semi-state, it'll be number 14 Rochester at number 9 Rossville. Rossville, of course, is the defending Class A state champion. They've won the regional the last 3 years, and they have been fantastic with senior Avery Layton, who's 44-7 with a 1.03 ERA for her career. She's 14-3 this year with a 1.45 ERA. She's also batting .425 with 48 RBIs, 7 home runs, and 10 doubles. Rochester led by sophomore Aubrey Wilson, who is batting .487 with 40 runs scored and 36 RBIs, 9 doubles, and 22 stolen bases. She's only a sophomore and has 50 career stolen bases. Should be a pretty good game.
Yes, it should be. The one thing about Rossville, though, is because they're in their the Hoosier Heartland Conference, they're in with a lot of smaller schools. And so I don't know, outside of that, I don't know if they schedule or have played some of the Lafayette schools.
Last couple state championships didn't convince you?
Well, 1A, and I'm going to tell you, as you get there, softball, but there in girls' sports, there's a bigger jump from 1A to 2A than there is in boys' sports.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. And it is a big jump between 1A and 2A and everything. It really is. It might be the biggest jump. Well, 3 to 4 is probably the biggest jump, but 1 to 2 is the second biggest.
Oh, yeah, and maybe in Rossville, maybe they can get lucky and get Rochester. I don't think they could get whoever, Ellick or LaPel, whoever comes out of that regional line, and
Well, the reason they've been winning the last few years is Avery Layton, and she is still there. So I have a feeling they'll make a run. In that same semi-state is the 14-15 Knox Redskins against the number 3 Andrean 59ers. Knox is 14-15. Their only regional championship was 2018. Andrean is 18-7. They've won 3 state championships, and they are a 7-time state finalist. They are led by senior Maddie McCoy, who's batting .473 with 29 runs and 26 stolen bases. Knox is led by senior Carly Friedrich, who's batting .441 with 4 home runs, 15 doubles, 32 runs scored, and 27 RBIs. And in the other regional, it's number 8 South Adams at Central Noble. South Adams is 24-5. Central Noble is 23-5. Central Noble's last regional championship was last year. They've only won 3, though. Central Noble's never won one. But Central Noble beat South Adams 6-3 on April 26th.
Now, wait a minute, because you said Central Noble's last win was last year. And
I meant
3.
South Adams.
Okay.
Okay, let me redo that. And the other regional in the Kokomo semi-state is number 8 South Adams at Central Noble. South Adams is 24-5. Central Noble is 23-5. South Adams won a regional championship last year. It was their 3rd in program history. Central Noble has never won one. But Central Noble did beat South Adams 6-3 on April 26th. Central Noble's led by a pitcher named Grace Swank, who's 12-3 with a 1.54 ERA. She's also batting .550 with 42 RBIs, 30 runs scored, 8 home runs, and 9 doubles. For South Adams, it's senior Addie Baker, who has 44 RBIs this year and also is 17-3 pitching with a 1.85 ERA. She's 35-5 her last 2 years. That should be a good one. A couple of really good pitchers there.
Yes, it should be. And I know this is the regional and we can do semi-state and probably mention it again, but, Tipton's Claire Nora did something I have never seen done before. She pitched a no-hitter as a sophomore in Tipton's first semi-state game when they won, and then they got beat in the championship. The following year, she was part of a double no-hitter, and Tipton lost 1-0, and because of an error. So she had 2 of 3 semi-state games she played. She threw no-hitters. So good pitching when you get that far can be a big difference.
And those 2 teams have really good pitching. And in the South, in the Forest Park semi-state, it's number 7 Hagerstown against number 11 Triton Central. Hagerstown is 20-2. Triton Central is 22-2. But combined, they only have one regional championship. That was Triton Central in 2023. Hagerstown is led by senior Rylan Young, who is 20-2 with a 0.94 ERA and has 200 strikeouts this year. Also, senior Allison Stinson is batting .583 with 44 RBIs for the Tigers. For Triton Central, I think they're also the Tigers, aren't they? Senior Briley Couch is 10-1 with a 1.48 ERA, 106 strikeouts to 16 walks. She's also batting .492 with 38 RBIs.
That should be a great one.
A Mid-Southern Conference matchup between 14-8 Salem and 17-13 Brownstown. Combined, they've only won one regional championship ever. Again, that's because Silver Creek and Charlestown, and those teams are in their sectional. And they lost in the semi-state championship last year to eventual state champion Cascade, did Brownstown. Brownstown beat Salem 10-0 on April 15th with behind Shiloh Steele's one hitter and just one walk. Salem's led by junior Kennedy Garlock, who is batting .412 with 24 runs and 32 stolen bases. Brooke Meal for Brownstown is batting .456 with 32 runs and 11 stolen bases. And sophomore Avery Wilson is 9-1 with a 2.88 ERA, 51 strikeouts, and 12 walks. Then it's 9-9 Monrovia at 10-13 Greencastle. Monrovia has only won 2 regionals all time. Their last one, 2015. Greencastle's last one came in 1998. Monrovia is led by Cameron Wolf, who's batting .543 with 20 RBIs, 17 runs scored, and 11 stolen bases. And Michelle Tecumseh is 27-2, and they go to face number 6 West Vigo, which is 24-3. Tecumseh's won 16 regional championships, including the last 3 years. They are a 6-time state finalist and a 2-time state champion. West Vigo has only won 1 regional all-time. That was 2014. West Vigo is led by junior Jaylee Lindley, who's batting .522. Her slugging percentage is .953 with 54 RBIs and 32 runs scored. Oh, also, she's 12-1 pitching with a 1.20 ERA. And as good as Tecumseh is, I'm not sure they can beat West Vigo, Michelle.
No, but it's funny because you just can't count out Tecumseh because there was a year
I
they
know.
wanted to stay, and I couldn't believe I didn't expect them to win, and not only did they win, I think they thumped who they beat.
That's right, and they're up to 2A now. You talked about the Leap, and
yes,
it is that is a lot smaller school than West Vigo. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think they'll see that Leap and how big a difference it is.
And again, I think in this one, Tecumseh and West Vigo, either one of them could win the semi-state. Also, Hagerstown and Triton Central, whoever wins that one as well.
Oh, yeah. There's something, I don't know if I'd read something or saw something about Hagerstown, but I think they're, from whatever I read, I think they're a pretty good team.
They are a very good team. They are 20-2, and they've given up fewer than 20 runs. That'll get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Class A in the north at Frontier, the rough Frontier semi-state. It is 6-13 Cambridge City against 19-10 Southwood. And Michelle, Southwood has never won a regional. Sure looks like they're going to. They are led by senior Natalie Sutphin, who is 17-6 with a 3.29 ERA and is also batting .427 with 31 RBIs. Cambridge City senior Lexi McFeeters is batting .571 with 27 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a couple of home runs. Looks pretty promising for Southwood.
Yes, it does. It does.
And Clinton Prairie is at Riverton Park. Clinton Prairie is 19-8. They are a 2-time state champion, but haven't won a regional since 2005. Riverton Park is ranked number 1. They have not won a regional since they won the state championship in 2010. Clinton Prairie is led by senior Katie Fear now, who's batting .455 with 40 runs scored and 19 stolen bases. Riverton Park is led by the pitching combination of senior Madison Kuntz and Jaylee Inman. They are a pair of stars. They are combined 24-4 with 183 strikeouts and 55 walks. Inman's also batting .564 with 39 RBIs. Her career slugging percentage is .969. That's a tough task for Clinton Prairie.
It is. Now, what you hope for is that, again, that you don't have to pitch to her with runners on base, or that if you do, you've got 2 outs and first base open, so you just go ahead and walk her.
And it's also number 4 North Newton against number 10 Westville. This is a packed, a loaded North semi-state. North Newton is 20-3. They've only won 1 regional championship. That was 2022. Westfield is 19-5. They've never won a regional. Those are 2 pretty good teams never to have won a regional.
Yes,
North Newton is led by Sydney Radenford, who is 15-4 this year and 54-8 in her career, with a 0.42 ERA, a state best 317 strikeouts to 19 walks. Westfeld Jr. Kirsten Vargas is 17-4 with a 1.7 ERA with a paltry 206 strikeouts to 33 walks. That should be a really good pitching duel.
It should be. Sometimes I get it because strikeouts are impressive, but sometimes if you throw a lot of strikeouts, you can tend to throw a lot of pitches. That's not a big deal necessarily in the regional, but it becomes a big deal if you're playing in the semi-state and you want that pitcher to have to pitch 14 innings and
but strikeouts kill rallies. They're huge for. And it's 13-11 Fremont at number 9 South Central, which is 19-6. Fremont won a regional championship last year. South Central hasn't won one since 2022 when they were the state runners-up. South Central is led by senior Lexi Johnson, who's 16-5 with a 1.47 ERA, 263 strikeouts to just 35 walks. She has 753 career strikeouts. And Michelle, we have a couple of local teams in this one, but it's going to be hard to see Southwood or Clinton Prairie making a run in this. There are a lot of good teams in that semi-state.
Yeah, there are. Clinton Prairie, though, you talk about a program that is rich in tradition, and They are, and they've had some really good teams in the past. I think they were competitive with Rossville this year. I'm not even sure. They might have actually upset Rossville. One thing I'm trying to remember between baseball and softball. That's the bad thing.
Baseball, they definitely did.
Yes. So, but I think they may have been softball, or they gave them a run for their money anyway. And
it's a good team, that's for sure.
It is, and like I said, they got some tradition. And that Fear Now name, I remember there's been some Fear Nows, I think, that have come through there before. So.
And our last semi-state in the South in Class A, it's at North Davies. And the 4 regionals are number 5 Lutheran against Indiana Deaf. Lutheran is 19-6. They've won the regional the last 2 years, 3 state championships all time with 5 finals appearances. That is a lot different than Indiana Deaf's resume that's never had won a net, which had never won a sectional before this year. Lutheran junior Gracie Boggs is 10-1 this year with a 2.4 ERA. And she's also batting .500 with 8 doubles.
I don't mean any disrespect, but that sectional at Indiana Deaf came through may have been the easiest or worst sectional in the entire state.
It had to be. 25-9 Milan is at 21-5 Tri. Tri is ranked 8th in the state and won a regional championship last year. They lost 8-0 to Rossville last year in the semi-state championship. They were also the 2017 state runners-up. Milan is led by junior Kennedy Bodie, who's batting .674 with 10 home runs, 16 doubles, 58 RBIs, and 54 runs. Do they ever get her out, Michelle? And junior, and for Tri, junior Lila Williams is the state leader with 39 stolen bases. Also, number 6 Orleans is at number 7 Clay City, the Eels. Orleans has never won a regional. Clay City has won 5 regional championships. 2021 was their last one when they were the state runners-up. Clay City's led by Lizzie Cinders, who is 11-4 with a 2.25 ERA. She's also batting .494 with a .559 on-base percentage with 20 runs scored. Orleans is led by junior Izzy Rutherford, who is 3-0 this year with a 1.93 ERA, 115 strikeouts to 12 walks. I'm guessing she's 3-0 because she usually comes in relief.
That would be my guess.
That's right. She's also batting .440 with 25 runs scored and 21 RBIs and 10 doubles. And our last regional is 14-6 Wood Memorial against 22-5 and 3rd ranked West Washington, which is led by sophomore Macy Lowry, who's batting .490 with 41 runs scored, 36 RBIs, 7 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 home runs. And this is also going to be a very good semi-state with number 5 Indianapolis Lutheran, number 6 Orleans, number 7 Clay City, number 8 Tri, number 3 West Washington. Whoever comes out of that's going to earn it.
Yes, they are.
Thank you so much to Michelle for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report, and thank you for listening. Please share. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.